Welcome, everyone, to this night's Midnight Ranting, Atheism vs. Christianity, where we put the 2,000-year-old monotheistic religion up against the skeptics. So won't you join us for some zombie-loving fun? Christianity makes no sense. And I know for many Christians out there, life without Jesus is incoherent. I have tried many times to wrap my head around ritual human sacrifice. Though after reading some of the Old Testament, things are starting to become clear. This was a God who loved the smell of burnt flesh, who needs lamb's blood, or he's going to kill your first. Who needs lamb's blood, or he's going to kill your fucking firstborn. You know, the same God who told Abraham to kill his son Isaac. Though everything is okay, because like with Charlie Brown, the football, or should I say, the murder in cold blood, was pulled away at the last second. Well, Yahweh got away with it this time, and like the mob boss he is, he killed his own son because this somehow forgives other people's sins. Wow. Can every death row inmate get this offering? And can we switch out innocent people? And where did that body disappear to? Well, Christians will tell you this is evidence of him rising into heaven. Not that someone burned the body or that he was legend altogether. No, they would rather talk about how we can't know anything at all. Like you just started an undergrad philosophy course at college. And why is that? Because zombies aren't easy to defend. So how are you tonight, James? And what are your thoughts on Jeebus versus the atheists?
I'm doing good, Amy. How are you doing? You're doing all right?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, Aunt Sharon. Good to see you again. One of our devoted listeners there. Yeah, this debate was a dumpster fire, and I don't know why we expected much difference. It's been so long since we had Darth back on modern day debate, but he's like the man with the dumpster touch. Everything he touches turns into a dumpster fire. I thought Mark did really good. Ironically, Darth seemed to keep his cool. He was trying to be on his best behavior tonight, which is a little bit different from how he normally is. I was wondering if we would make it to 20 minutes before he had a total meltdown and rage quit, but he was able to hold it together. Yeah, he was able to hold it together, but yeah, he really just got stuck on this. Well, without God, what do you know? What is there? What is there fundamentally in the universe without God? And Mark was like, I've seen nothing in the universe that indicates a need for a God. Next, what do you have for me, Darth? Because, just to say, oh, well, you have to believe in a God or you can't know anything, or what is it? What's the fundamental nature of the universe? I mean, which is a lot of times around the lines of what we hear as deistic argument, does nothing to point in the direction of the Abrahamic God. Doesn't do anything for that. It just posits the idea that there needs to be some deity somewhere, some way to make all this work. Okay, the only problem is he's not arguing for a deistic God. He is a young earth creationist. He is arguing for a Jewish guy who rose from the dead 2,000 years ago. And when you go with that, you have to defend all the claims. You can't just defend a vague philosophical axiom that really doesn't even hold up to its own weight. So I thought Mark did a really good job, as much as annoying as it is trying to deal with Darth with his vague philosophical word salads that he just kept spewing out mindlessly. But And that's really what we got the whole time. The laws of the universe are descriptive, not prescriptive. We are evolved apes on this planet looking out into the stars, looking out into the universe, and seeing how things seem to work. And we are taking what we see down and writing that as laws. It's not that light would just really love to go faster than the speed that it goes at, but God is sitting there telling each individual photon, no, you can't go any faster than what you're going right now. And like God
Not
is
like we have a
pulling
choice.
everything. Yeah. Like God is sitting there making everything conform to reality. And that's just not, there's just no evidence of that. And Darth Dawkins, with his explanation of miracles, which was so vague, was that miracles don't defy the laws of physics. It's just God working through the laws of physics. So, I mean, basically, according to that, if you hold up a quarter in your hand and you drop it to the ground, well, that was a miracle because God made that quarter drop, because God made gravity. So that's kind of miraculous in a way, don't you think, Amy?
I know. And yeah, it annoyed me so much how they hedge to deism. They refuse to defend their own religion. I kind of like freaked out at like a timestamp. It was like 45, 50 minutes that I think Christianity was first brought up. And it was like, okay, so all this time, and even then it was for like, a sentence or two. And then we're back to this whole, do you know anything at all? How do you know anything without your ultimate? Your ultimate. Your ultimate's ultimate. It's like, you know what, sir? If you don't have 750, get out of line at McDonald's.
He's trying to channel Mr. Batman, but not that Mr. Batman's much better at it than he is. I think Mr. Batman is just more rehearsed, maybe. I don't know. It's a really bad line of thought. And yeah, we see this with Christians all the time. They don't really try to defend the claims that their religion makes. They're much more comfortable defending vague deistic notions of an uncaused cause, or, a God somewhere, some way, somehow in the universe. But yeah, when it comes to, like, Darth Dawkins came out this stream as a young Earth creationist. Okay, Darth, so you have to reconcile all the stuff in Genesis that doesn't comport with reality, common sense, and science. And just as a recap, we're most of the way through Genesis, and so far we haven't really found much of anything that conforms to reality, common sense, or science. It's just been one dumpster fire of logic after another, just constant absurdity, one after the next. And I don't think it's going to get much better anytime soon, Amy. I don't get that feeling that it's getting better.
Well, this is my big annoyance of presups, is they don't come to present evidence, they come to preach. My most, a pet peeve of mine is when people say, they ask a question, you say, I don't know, and they say, how can you not know? It's like, no. I don't know, which now means you give me the answer. You're now supposed to inform me, but he just wants to like bait and bait and bait. But when you come with an honest interlocutor who doesn't make up shit, and he said, I don't know, very early on, but then the cycle continues, because I don't know is not an acceptable answer to them.
And I get that. I get that we're not really comfortable with things that we can't comprehend or that we don't know. I mean, somehow they'll tell you the same thing. Well, you can't comprehend God. He's a Trinity. He's three and he's one. Nobody understands it. But whatever. It's just God. You can't put God in a big God like that in the box of the human mind. You can't limit him to what seems possible to us. Mind blown.
Mind blown. Yeah.
And
we didn't see any evidence, and we just saw basically a back and forth on. Once again, I'm glad Darth Dawkins found undergrad philosophy. I'm happy for you. How could you know anything? Maybe you're a brain in a vat. Why aren't you fizzing soda? Maybe it's the Matrix. Did we get it out of our system? Ah, okay. Good.
And the answer to all that is we don't really know. What is the fundamental nature of reality? Not really sure on that yet. But we can be pretty sure whatever it is at the bottom of it has absolutely nothing to do with Christianity. The answers, if we ever find them, if we ever get there, is not going to have anything to do with Yahweh wanting to burn lambs and burn animals so that he can forgive people of sins. It's just not going to be there. But we saw with Darth, like him almost immediately trying to shift the burden of proof to, well, I'm not here, I don't have to defend my religion or my beliefs. You have to prove that it's wrong. You have to prove that my God doesn't exist. And we all know that it's almost impossible to prove a negative because they'll just keep adjusting their God claims to make it unfalsifiable. And if we somehow manage to falsify it, guess what? They'll just modify the claim so that it can't be falsified anymore.
Yeah, they'll just keep on ad hocing and ad hocing
right.
and ad hocing.
No, go ahead.
Oh no! Make your last.
Oh, I was
point.
just going to say
someone backstage, so I want to.
I was just going to say when the clouds were, for all intents and purposes, as far away from the people on the ground as Jupiter or the Andromeda Galaxy, it was fine to say God lived up there because you could never, ever, ever get up into the clouds. I mean, people can't fly. So, okay, all of a sudden then we got to the clouds. Didn't find anybody up there. Well, maybe he's further out there in space somewhere. Well, we're looking in space and we haven't seen any evidence of a God. He's in another dimension. He's outside of all this. You're not going to be able to find him here. They just keep modifying the claims to make it so that our limits of what we're able to understand can't prove him wrong or can't prove that he doesn't exist.
Yes. I feel like everyone says that they wish they were debating them. I hear this from a lot of other debaters, but I honestly think that he did well against Darth, and I think he batted away basically as best as you can when okay, you got your answer. Is there another line to the script? Is there something else?
Right.
Is all you had was this? Do you have like a whole sheet of notes and it's just what is your ultimate? What is your ultimate? What is your ultimate? What is your ultimate? It's like, okay, this is a good interview. We're getting to a lot, and it's never the reason why they believe.
Absolutely,
never the reason why they believe.
But
the
reason they believe is usually anecdotal.
Usually an emotional reason. I don't mean to shit on emotions. I'm an emotional person myself, but don't sit here and spout logic. Well, whatever that was, and then
I didn't hear much logic in it from Darth.
Yeah. Much logic. Exactly. And so in a second, we're going to bring in Donald. And if anyone else would like to join us, the link is...
I saw Darth Dawkins debunked in the chat there. That's a good channel. Darth Dawkins debunked.
So according to Darth's hero Cornelius Van Til, presuppositional apologetics is an argument from authority. To me, that is equal authoritarianism, plain and simple. And yeah, I honestly think there is only one solution to presuppositional apologetics, and that's trolling. Okay? I don't often endorse trolling. Maybe I do a little bit. But in this occasion, it's the only thing. I saw something, in the middle of a debate, I'll say this, and he'll go, "You're childish. You're childish. You're childish." I'm slowly becoming Ken Hovind again. But someone in modern day debates chat was just like, "You know what? It's my eternal butthole." And it was just like, it makes sense. See, and I feel like that is the only answer to those type of things. It's just like, okay, I know the eternal. It's the eternal butthole. The eternal butthole has been speaking from me. I mean, it's similar to the black box, but I feel like his reductio ad absurdum is how you should treat Darth.
Do we have Baptist Chad in here tonight? I saw you having your banter with him.
Yes. Well, that's what I
pre-debate.
wanted to say before I said brought Donald in. Is I had a shout out once again. I hate not to drag identity politics, but someone wanted to come on in and debate. I guess I don't know what pro-trans, anti-trans. I'd be like pro-gay, anti. Well, that's what he said. So come on in if you want to debate it. It's not completely on topic, but it really probably stems from your Christianity. So we could probably tie it back on topic. So
probably
it always comes back around.
Why do they want to pick on the Sultana of Sodomy herself?
Sodomy, baby. And okay,
I mean, if Yahweh were real, he would have had to burn you numerous times over. Nuke.
I know. Well, you know what? I mean, not to show off or anything, but Yahweh doesn't have a great track record. I feel like if a talking snake can outsmart him, I mean, I talk.
That's true.
I mean, not saying that I'm Einstein here, but me and the snake. We're on equal footing. I could pull some shit off. We'll find out. He's a good guy, though. I shouldn't shit talk the snake.
The snake?
He was telling the
truth.
Or
the devil?
Yes.
The snake / devil.
Depends on which version we're talking about. But theist, what I'm saying is come one, come all. We love you. We heart you.
Tell us why we're going to hell. Tell us why we're so evil.
Exactly.
Tonight is Pick on Amy night, yes.
Woo-hoo.
Yes, the anti-LGBT Christians, come one, come all.
When they start to say too mean of things, I say, that turns me on. And then I watch them go, and I'm like...
And then they'll be the ones emailing you later on saying, hey, what's up, Amy? You want to...
That's probably true.
That's... you know it.
The ones that push a little bit too hard. And sorry, Donald. See, now we're blabbing. No, that's good. I need to get some blabbing out because, oh my gosh, my head felt like it was going to pop. Like, how many times can you ask the same question? How many times can we ask the same question about the same question?
As many grains of sand in the sea or stars in the sky. As much seed as Abraham is going to spread all over everybody. Which is apparently a lot. A lot of seed. You're on mute, Amy?
Yep, I'm sorry. I was just getting set up. And okay, I just want to send out... I was trying to find if Mark Dresdale's channel. Because he did, I think, his best as one can do. I think he was humble.
I think so.
I think that, he reminded me of very much how I treat a flat earth debate. Like, he's like, look, I'm not coming in to destroy you. I came in to learn your worldview. Maybe you can learn my worldview, but probably not because we're not going to get through questions.
He's debated flat earth before, and he's done a very good job of it. I think he debated Rose. Remember that that Rose girl who debated flat Earth. She debated, I think, moon landing and the dinosaurs are hoax. Her favorite tagline from that one that I bring up is that she thought dinosaurs were not real because she looked at toys and she didn't understand how the boy dinosaur could get his thingy inside the girl dinosaur to be able to make baby dinosaurs. So therefore, that they didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I loved her. My favorite thing about her was just the facial expressions that she made, I think, with her partner when she was just like...
Alex Stein, yeah.
Yeah,
they were not on the same page about everything.
Not on the same wavelength. And okay, welcome, Donald.
Hey, Donald.
If you need a second, I know you're like you. I've been going off and on. How are you?
He's got a special Hawaiian shirt for tonight.
Woohoo! And hello, Titan, your anus. I'll tell you, it's very tight after that debate. Let me tell you. At least mine is.
I wouldn't call presuppositionalism a worldview, by the way. It's more like refusal to actually view the world.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, think about it. You mentioned
mind-numbing.
the brain in the vat. You mentioned the brain in the vat earlier. If we presupposed that we were brains in vats, or if each one of us individually presupposed that we individually were a brain in a vat, regardless of whether or not anybody else was, we could build a whole imaginary worldview around that, and we could post hoc rationalize everything in the world based around that presupposition, and nobody could convince us that we're wrong as long as we're determined to keep that presupposition and never change it.
And these
We'd
mind
literally
games,
be refusing to view reality.
exactly.
Word
And these
salads and
mind
mind
games
games, yeah.
will never get us closer to Christianity or to a monolith. Everything that Darth said tonight could have been used for a Muslim god, the Jewish god, a Hindu god.
Flying spaghetti monster.
I didn't expect I was up to tolerating it, and I had a lot of other stuff to do, so I actually skipped the debate. I figured I'd come in here without having watched it, if you didn't mind, and just see how the conversation goes, because I have a lot to say about presuppositionalism. I would rather not say anything about any particular presuppositionalist, because they have my pity.
It's
Well, I
all
haven't
bad all the
seen-
way around.
Yeah, and I haven't seen
Kalam.
much of. Yeah, the Kalam is a terrible argument, and I haven't seen actually much of
That
Darth
it is.
Dawkins. This is my
Amy
first
was
time.
in debate saying, does he really honestly think anybody is convinced by these word salads and philosophical
Yes, him-
quirks?
Yes, other presuppositionalists. That's probably who he expects is convinced by it.
The people
And-
who are
and-
already
and-
deluded.
Yeah, people who are already deluded, or people who are trying to find an excuse to deny reality and are willing to look at that and go, "Hey, I think I found one."
Yeah,
That's a good
and
point. That's a good way of
That's
putting
how
it. People
presuppositionalism works. It isn't
desperate to
going to
deny
convince.
reality.
Yeah, it isn't going to convince anyone. It isn't going to convince anyone who actually wants to know reality that it's true, unless it happens to actually be true. And if you presuppose something like I have a mind that's able to do thinking, okay, that's probably going to work out okay. But if you presuppose something ridiculous like let's say Duke Nukem's plate of spaghetti came to life, developed sentience, and created our universe, and without Duke Nukem, we therefore wouldn't exist. It's kind of hard to really justify believing that if you're actually looking at the evidence in reality. But if you want to deny reality, you can fool yourself.
And they never seem to supply an answer for solipsism. It's not like they say
you can't really. It's a philosophical word.
They're not providing answers for anything except their post hoc rationalizations. They're basically providing answers for how their presupposition can be squished into fitting into the puzzle that is our world.
Well, finish your saying, Amy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's just
Me neither.
They talk about all this. Let me tell you, Donald, and we've been repeating ourselves like it's Groundhog's Day, because if this was the modern day equivalent of Groundhog's Day, was Mark just sat. Darth asked Mark the equivalent of "What is your ultimate?" There was another word, but basically, what is your ultimate? And when Mark said, "I don't know," Darth refused to change from that question. And for the next 45 to 50 minutes, that's all Darth just kept on pounding.
That's like the Mr. Batman. Like with the "How do you know anything?
Yeah.
How do you know anything? How do you know anything?
Yeah.
How do you know anything?"
And that, like I said, I figured I wasn't going to be able to tolerate that, because I would want to be in there answering that. I've watched those kinds of debates before on modern day debate, and I've had more than once that I've kind of went, "Let me in there, please."
I think we all feel that way. I think it's a common with the debate community.
We want to
we're
put
so
things
ready.
the way we want it to be put in, But I think Mark did a very good job.
Mark did a good job.
Yeah.
I did. I think he was a mensch.
I don't doubt it. It's not a matter of thinking the other person isn't doing good enough or they're not doing as good as they should. It's just a matter of
Put me in, coach.
It's like having somebody beating on you and trying not to fight back.
Put me in, coach. Put me in. Yeah, assaulting your logic, assaulting your sense of reason and logic.
And it took 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's like my universe is based around logic. I don't presuppose that logic works. It has proven itself. And when somebody goes attacking logic, which has proven itself, with a presupposition that has not, I kind of take that as an attack on the whole world around me.
Well, what Mark did was
I've got to a worldview.
Mark came out and was pointing out in the past that humans have used God claims to justify virtually anything that we did not know at the time became a God claim. And so far, we've invalidated just about every single one that we've been able to test. And Darth Dawkins just kept saying, well, that doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that there is no God. So he's just saying, well, humans came up with God as an excuse for things. They didn't know how it worked. But God could still be there. That doesn't prove he's not there, which is true. It's just that there's no evidence of him. There's nothing that we need a God for.
And
he just becomes more and more irrelevant.
And he gave one answer. He gave one answer in the whole night that made me go, Are you serious? He basically gave, when he was finally pinned on what is your actual argument, it was basically well, look at the leaves blowing. And I was like, are you kidding me? He gave a very look at the trees argument.
Tide goes in, tide goes out.
I've never heard that version of the look at the trees argument. He actually avoided wording it as look at the trees, huh?
Yes, it was something very similar to I know by the way that the leaves are blowing. It's just like,
look at the thing with branches and leaves and the stem.
Well, let's talk about the trees. Let's talk about your Bible, about the Jesus having a conversation with a tree. Let's talk about that, because at the end of the day, that's what you have to defend. You don't just have to defend vague philosophical quirks. You have to defend Jesus having a conversation with a tree and being upset at the tree because it wasn't fig season, and taking action against the tree to punish that tree. He punished that tree.
Yeah, unless of course the presupposition is not, the Christian God or the Bible's God, but just a vague deity of some type. And if that's the case, if you drop it down to that presupposition, not only does that make it so then no longer do you have a case to support the Bible's God, which you never had in the first place, but it ends up being where you've actually just defeated any arguments for the Bible's God, because then you're presupposing a God that doesn't fit the description of the Bible's God. Therefore, it must be some other God.
And what was so annoying, and I know this bothered you, Amy, was when he kept talking about God revealing himself, that we know because God has revealed himself to us. Like, no, he hasn't.
He had a specific word. He said that God made the initiative. God made the initiative to go find us. And it's like, wow, he was like fucking Tom Cruise. He had like a mission impossible to go find us. Well, he failed. He was bad at it. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, what did the people in the flood think about God coming to find them?
Yeah.
Probably not much, because they were busy thinking stuff like, I'm going to drown.
Yeah. The free will goes out the door at that point. Dave Gar says, look at the trees, illogical. If it were the case, all clergy would be arborists.
And this is the thing, there's a few people.
That's an interesting thing. You ever notice that, like if somebody's in a swimming pool and they're drowning, they're on on a beach and they're drowning, whatever, and some lifeguard is offering them help. They're never like, oh no, never mind, God will take care of it.
God will take care of it. It's okay. It could be in God's hands.
I don't need your help, lifeguard. God will take care of it. Never see that happen. Wonder why.
Right. I mean, it's like if you were to, Donald, if you were to fall and break your arm, you wouldn't just sit there and pray that God heal your arm. No, you go to the doctor and you get him to do it, and you pray for it. And you would also pray for it. So you go to the doctor and you would pray. So prayer is like an addition, a supplement. It's
there are believers who will take the prayer over the medicine or the surgery or getting a cast or whatever.
You know what happens with them? They die.
They tend to heal at the same rate as people who don't pray and don't believe in a God, who also don't get medical treatment.
In fact, there's at least a study that shows that people who know they're getting prayed for actually heal at a
slightly lower recovery rates.
Yes,
that was cancer. I forget what kind of cancer, but that was a study where they were testing cancer patients.
And
see Ryder back there. He's coming to say hi.
Hi, puppy.
Sorry, hadn't meant to cut you off. Go ahead, tell the hypothesis.
No. I like that you're excited. Don, I think the expression it's a good analogy that's the same for me. It's why I have this, is that you get so excited that it's like a volcano. I'm the same exact way. You could see me go.
Get a little bubbly.
I understand. What was I saying before that, though?
Has God revealed himself to you, Amy? Has God revealed himself to you?
Yeah.
About the cancer study where they had some people prayed for, and go ahead.
And they think it was because of anxiety performance that now people are sitting there in their bed going, "Oh God, I'm religious and I want prayer to work and heal," and they're stressing themselves out, and so they don't.
I haven't heard that hypothesis, but I have heard a different hypothesis for why they had lower recovery rates, and that was the fact that if they believed God was going to take care of it, they didn't try as hard to get better.
But you know what the thing is, they've done the test for other religions and for everything, and it always comes about the same. Everybody gets healed or gets worse based on medical condition and the law of averages. There's nothing going on here.
Now this is a joke, I think. Tale as old as time, but it's like, you're going through all this medical procedures, you're praying all this money, the doctor is sitting by your bed, the nurses are coming in every night, the janitors make sure that everything's clean, you finally get healed because your body works with the scientific method to get everything done, and you're like, thank you, God. Yeah,
right.
I think it might have been
the doctor, maybe more than God.
All the other people,
yeah. It is amazing how many people will thank the doctors not for the work they did, but for being there to help them emotionally get through it while God heals them. As if the doctors literally had nothing to do with it. Like, they're just like, there for moral support.
Like our good friend Ken Hovind, he used to always go around. This is a while ago, talking about how his daughter's husband had cancer, and he had been treating it with Ken Hovind's vitamin B17 pills, and how it had done just such a wonderful impact on his treatment. He was still alive. Do you know where he is now? He's in a casket underground. He died.
He's 6 feet under. And hold on 1 second, because another lovely, lovely name entered. I just want to say hi to Organic Jerk. which, if you think about it, I hope well, you know what? You never know. You might get a good robot these days. And this is this is a mix. It's both a good post-debate after show and just the subject itself. Atheism versus Christianity. What are your thoughts? If anyone would like to join our live stream and say what's on your mind, feel free.
Tell us why Darth Dawkins is right.
Yeah. Oh, see, I have never ever we have never muted a theist. We've never kicked a theist. So theists, come on down. We want your
John Maddox. He mutes and kicks people left and right all the time. Our good friend John Maddox.
I know. It's we're losing. We're slowly losing theists. They're peeling off. But we got Maddox, we got Tangelo, we got Darth Dawkins, Mr. Batman. Come on.
Yeah. Praise.
By the way,
although his main channel is still shut down for another month, our good buddy Praise I Am That I Am That I Am That I Am. Now he's just Praise I Am.
By the way, James, when you asked Amy earlier, do you know God? I went and I grabbed a link. I'm just putting in the chat right now.
What, God has a website?
No, it's a video by Dark Matter 2525 named "Do You Know God?"
I might have seen it before, but I will look at it at some point.
Worth checking out. After the show's over, if you can go back and find the link, it's there.
I'm sure I will.
And I want to
I would like to encourage people to do that, by the way, to run back through the stream, because it counts. It counts as extra viewing time, and it helps the algorithm.
That it does.
If you want to help the channel, go back and look through that live chat afterward and find links that you want.
All your sock accounts.
Click on them then.
And
thumbs up with all your sock accounts, Donald.
A reminder to both like.
I haven't got sock accounts. Just two of me.
A reminder to like, subscribe, and not only that, but to click all on the bell notifications so you can come join our live streams.
Every time Amy goes live, the NASA shill, the priestess of the spaghetti monster.
Do you like my new flag back there? This is my new NASA. So now I got my Pastafarian flag with Believe, and now I got my NASA, my official NASA shilling.
And
so any flat
inner
earthers,
circle,
and we got the inner circle atheist. Oh my god! And I had to kill another atheist for that. I had to eat around the baby.
If that big round thing is a NASA shilling, it's no wonder we're not using their currency.
I know exactly.
Yeah, my socks couldn't figure out how to work my computer, by the way. That's why they don't have an account.
That's okay. Oh, but
his sock account, yeah. Donald's on a roll tonight. I don't know. I don't have any sock accounts.
I'm on a chair.
Contrary to popular belief.
I want to reiterate.
Yeah, that works.
It's just
irradiate, whatever.
It's just odd coming from a culture that was not raised in Christianity. I think Christians just think it is the normal. It is the this is the standard. This is the zero.
Oh, if only they would just think.
No, it's true. It is, because when these ideas are presented to you when you're growing up and when you're forming your ideas about how the world is, and it's just always there. And
that's exactly it. It's not even so much a matter of thinking that it's normal as it is
part of your reality.
It's so normal to them that for the most part they don't even think about whether or not it's normal. And if it gets brought up, if anything comes along that might make them question whether or not it's normal, cognitive dissonance sets in, and they don't want to have those thoughts.
Yeah. And I'll give you an example for me that really solidifies it is the cross. Is that to me?
Yes, the torture device they put everywhere.
Yes, it is like someone took a baseball bat and they beat their savior over the head, and so now everyone wears baseball bats around their neck, and it's like that is a little offsetting.
But Amy, he died on the cross for you. He loves you, Amy. For you. So that you, the terrible, reprobate, disgusting person that you are, you can go to heaven. It doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter what you've done. As long as you are willing to say, I'm sorry, and worship Yahweh forever, you get in. That's the only qualification. That's it.
That's true. I could go kill 12 people, but then if I
1,200.
honestly, or 1,200, and honestly and sincerely, not faking
You're sorry.
it.
Say, I'm sorry.
Say, I'm sorry. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Whoops. Come on.
And then all you have to do forever is sit down in God's throne room, look up at God, say, God, you're so great. God, I love you. You're a great God. You're the best God ever. When you said it was good, you were not joking, God. You are a really good God. Look at heaven. This is fucking amazing, God. And, you can do that forever. Doesn't that sound like the best time in the world, Amy?
That's amazing.
Well, that's why so many Christians walk around saying, God forgive me, God forgive me, God forgive me, God forgive me, God forgive me in their head all the time, even while they're planning on doing stuff that they know would piss God off, because that way, they can't die before they get a chance to say, God forgive me.
Right, yeah. Because if they're doing that and God doesn't like them, he'll kill them, without them getting a chance to tell him.
Which makes you wonder just how stupid do they think their God is? I mean, do they honestly believe that they're worshiping a God who's so stupid that he would have set up a plan with that huge of a flaw in it?
Yeah,
that
all you have to do is
anybody could get into his protected world by just going, God forgive me, God forgive me, God forgive me, while they're committing mass murder.
Sure, yeah. I mean, hey, it doesn't matter, Donald. He makes the rules. It doesn't have to make sense to us. That's the rules. He gets to do whatever he wants.
And Donald, it doesn't matter that it looks real. It doesn't matter that it looks really stupid. That's just because he's beyond your ability. Doesn't matter that this looks completely how no designer or engineer would design anything ever, or a parent, or like a stranger on a bus. Come on, Donald. Come on.
You don't have to understand why he put the tree in the garden and just walked away. It's just what he did. He didn't know about this snake coming up, this talking snake with legs. That completely blindsided him. But, because of that, now...
yeah, but he planned it. It was in his plan.
It was, but it wasn't, but it was.
Right. It was, but it wasn't. It was in his plan, but he planned to fool himself into not knowing he was going to do that.
He didn't even want Adam and Eve to be burdened with having to wear clothes. It was too much of a burden for him, so he just made it so they didn't understand that they needed clothes.
And can I ask who that tree was for? Like, why would you put a tree of good of knowledge, or a tree of knowledge of good and evil in the garden?
It was there just to give them the choice of going against God. That's it.
I can answer that.
Answer that.
Adam was Yahweh's gardener.
His gardener. But who was the fruit for? Was the fruit just
Yahweh.
for God? Okay, yeah. Just for Yahweh.
That was for Yahweh. Okay. Yahweh was Adam was Yahweh's gardener. Yahweh didn't know how to take care of, stuff here on
earth.
So
fell off
he
the tree.
Left
what
Yahweh
did they do with
it? Yeah.
So wait.
They weren't supposed to touch the fruit.
So what you're saying
I don't think the stuff is real, but I'm saying, if I presuppose it's real, it's that easy to answer.
But
that's how presupposition works.
That were true, that would mean that God is basically this quote unquote smart guy with this like smart tree of fruit of smart with this like kid who he thinks is dumb, and he's like, yeah, go tend to that, and don't eat it, dummy. Come on. Don't eat it.
Yeah.
Eh.
Well,
Yeah,
he
because
wanted
he
people to
didn't-
be dumb so we could worship him properly. That's
Well, he didn't
what
want
he
his
wanted.
he didn't want his slave to become his equal because then he wouldn't have a slave anymore.
I know, and a dumb slave. It can't just be any slave. It has to be a dumb
Well,
slave.
that's the sense in
Of
which
good
he would
and evil.
become equal. Yeah. Yeah. In that one sense, he would have become an equal, and then he wouldn't be a slave because then he understands what slavery is, and that slavery isn't good.
But I mean,
See,
this
he
is
didn't
the
want
thing.
his slave
yeah.
figuring out that slavery isn't good. Again,
This is the
if we
thing that we have to
presuppose there's
fight.
any truth at all.
Right, but this is the thing we have to fight against with these debates where Darth Dawkins, he doesn't have to defend any of this stuff because he's just going with these vague deistic notions, as opposed to actually defending the core tenets of Christianity, which don't make sense at all, regardless of the philosophical idea that there should be a
Also-
God or there should be a cause.
Forgive
No
me,
one
James.
can defend them. That's
And-
why they only go as far as, well, I don't have to defend them.
I just have to
Well,
go
if
like
you want us
this.
to believe
You're
me,
the bigly
do.
God. Everyone says so. You're tremendous.
Bigly,
You're
huge,
no
huge.
big God than you.
Yes.
Everyone knows. this.
Tremendous
Everyone
God.
says tremendous.
Tremendous God. Huge.
Yes.
Huge God.
Yes.
God's
God is a
crowd sizes were giant.
God is a
Huge.
dick. A tremendous dick. It's tremendous, I tell you.
Well, it's got to be bigger than the whales. Ken Hovind, as we all know, have 15-foot penises.
That's right. God is a dick that's bigger than a whale.
And I want to know. They always ask a common question to atheists. They'll say, "Well, what would make you believe?" And a common response from atheists is, "I don't know," which they then go off. They now have their own script on. My new response is, "Bring them here and let me handshake them." And they don't like that answer at all.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it changes. They're like, well, how would you want God to come down to you? And who are you? I'm like, you just said I can have anything. Like anything.
Well, I
And
think-
he's all
right.
powerful.
And this is the thing, you talk to these theists and, God doesn't owe that to you, but we know he has done it to people. He came to Abraham. He came to Moses. He came on Paul. And so, they're basically saying, well, you know what? God gives that to who he wants to give it to. If he doesn't feel like giving it to you.
He came in Abram, too.
He came to Abram, came in Abraham. So, if God feels like giving that to you, he feels like giving it to you. But if not, tough shit. You got to believe in him anyway. He'll still punish you if you don't. Oh, well, too bad.
And a lot of times the requirement for punishment is just non-belief. So it's just like, we're going to give you no evidence until you finally know. You finally do have the evidence. And once you have the evidence, too late, fucker. Time to burn.
Yeah, you should have figured that out before.
He's like
And
a saw boss.
Even people, God set it up so there'd be millions of billions of people who would be born and live their whole lives without anybody ever telling them about this God. So they basically have no chance whatsoever of believing in God because no one ever told them about it. Tough shit.
Yeah. The vast majority of humans on this planet have not heard of the vast majority of gods that have been believed in by humans on this planet. As a matter of fact, pick any one god out of all of the gods that have ever been believed in, all of the at least tens of thousands of gods that have ever been believed in. Pick any one, and the vast majority of people who have ever lived never heard of that god.
And once again, in this debate, not like it mattered, but it took 45, 50 minutes. I think first clock of Christianity, and then maybe like one or two mentions of Jesus in the Q&A. And the topic, once again, is welcome, everyone, to our Midnight Ranting on Atheism versus Christianity. You would think it's not atheism versus deism.
And then Mark, he pointed out, talking about the Bible, and he's like, well, which version of the Bible? Are you going to talk about the version of the Bible that talks about zombies walking around Jerusalem? Or they don't usually talk about that because it makes the whole story seem pretty unbelievable. So they that's not something they talk about a lot, you know?
Yeah, but if you're going to presuppose the Bible's true, then you have to presuppose that that's true too.
Empty
Zombie
tomb, Donald.
apocalypse
Empty
must
tomb.
have
Empty
happened.
tomb. Where's the body, Donald?
The whole-
Show me the body. Empty tomb.
Whole lot of empty tombs. I mean, think about it. Think about it. They talk about the empty tomb. If the Bible
Empty
was
tomb.
true, there should be a whole bunch of empty tombs with evidence that they weren't empty before, because all those zombies got up and walked away.
And
Not
hold
just
on, I just
one.
wanna-
And so how can they make the claim that they found Jesus' empty tomb when, according to the Bible, there were a whole bunch of empty tombs in that time that weren't Jesus' empty tomb? How are you going to tell them apart?
I mean, we know that the Egyptian pharaohs weren't gods because all their bodies, every single tomb, there's still a body in there, right?
Yeah, I never get the body defense.
I think there were a couple of them that they didn't have a body in them when they found them, but that's there's part of that is
What do you
why,
mean, Donald? What do you mean? It couldn't be another empty tomb.
Well, they moved them somewhere else because of grave robbers and stuff. So yeah, they're
maybe the grave robbers
I don't remember the details.
Committed necromancy with the pharaoh's body. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, gotta wonder.
Or necropsy or something, whatever the disgusting term is for that heathen practice.
And I just want to send a shout out to Haley. And I just want to send a shout out to Haley. I think she's one of the first theists to join us. So I'd like everyone to take her as a representative of theism. And
is she in chat?
Yeah.
Does she have her guitar tonight? Because Randolph really wanted to hear her guitar solo.
Don't put someone on the spot as representing theism, because you know how broad range theism is.
No. Take my word for it. I'm going light on her. She's trying to. What's the?
She's trying. She's trying. Trying to carry water for Yahweh.
Okay. I know. Well, she doesn't. I don't know which God she believes in or gods. I think.
Well, she's carrying water for that one on our
for
channel.
Those gods,
that's the one we pick on. Yeah, we tend to pick on Yahweh. Poor Yahweh, he doesn't exist, and you guys are just picking on him.
Poor theist.
Pointing out he's not real.
Destroying religion one podcast at a time. But I love you all. Mwah, mwah,
you can't even prove the tooth fairy isn't real, but you want to prove God's not real.
And want to shout a shout out to the awesome mods out there. Titan is like, hi, welcome. I'm Titan. But yes, trying to think atheism versus Christianity. Speaking of homophobia, and no, she's just trolling. She's not homophobic. She probably likes it up the pepper.
I'd like to see the atheism versus deism debate. When are they going to do that one?
We do it all the time. We get it all the time, Donald.
Or better yet, the theism versus deism debate.
And no, she could say bad things. I just want to keep on saying, once again, representative of theism. Welcome, Haley.
Love you. Atheism versus Christianity is too easy. It really is. That's absolutely too easy, because the Bible's God can be proven false in countless different ways quite easily. Now, a deistic God, that's not so easily proven not to exist. Depending on how you define it exactly, it might not even be possible at all to prove it doesn't exist. It's just irrelevant and unnecessary.
Right? There's no evidence one exists. There's no need for one. Yeah. There's nothing that we need to use a God to explain that wouldn't work okay without a God.
Exactly. There's no evidence that if a deistic God does exist, that the universe wouldn't go on just like it was, if that deistic God stopped existing. And there's no evidence that if a deistic God existed before the universe, that the universe wouldn't have come around without that deistic God existing. So, basically it's a completely irrelevant godlike thing, and Yeah, I
There's
mean,
no reason to get there.
And like
Right.
Dave
that
Garr
would be at least a
says,
challenging debate. But the theism versus deism, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, and that's the problem, like what Dave Garr is saying, because when you go up against the Bible, that there are numerous things in there that you can attack. It makes all kinds of claims and statements, and you really only need to be able to disprove one of them, and the whole house of cards collapses because
when you
that's it.
get as specific as Christianity, or worse yet, a specific sect of Christianity. Yeah, I don't. I have a hard time understanding how anybody can be actually convinced that they're on solid ground defending something like that. I mean, they might think they've got to fool their God into thinking that they think they're on solid ground, but I'm pretty sure they don't. They got to know better.
And they never actually come to defend specifics unless the actual topic is Jesus's resurrection. They never talk about Jesus' resurrection in a Christianity debate. They never talk about him walking on water or any of the miracles or why he is the reason that why they changed her lives. It's always the Kalam cosmological argument. It's always trying to first cause.
I guess that's why I appreciate so much. Actually, this sounds weird saying this, but somebody like Kent Hovind, because he always goes straight to Christianity. He doesn't beat around the bush with these deistic claims. I mean, I guess that's why he loses so many debates so badly, but at least he comes to play ball on those terms, you know?
Yeah, well, he doesn't care if he loses, as long as he makes money.
Well, yeah, probably not.
And can fool his brainwashed followers into thinking he didn't lose, you know.
They're desperate to be deluded, so they will just gobble up whatever slop he throws in the pig trough and thank him for it, because they get to pretend reality isn't real.
And just to segue for a second, because I basically now want to flirt with everyone in chat after they were going off on that conversation, but we'll segue on to this whole homosexuality, Leviticus, how it makes good people possibly think terrible, horrible things. Of course, there are the liberal and the metaphorical Christians and all this, but it's not just like it's a clean, non-baggage belief system.
And we've heard it on this channel before, Amy. We've heard that being rationalized that, God really didn't mean to kill gay people, Amy. He just meant not to rape kids. Okay, that would be a nice thing to put in there. It would, if that's true, it would suck how many people had to die over the centuries because of that misunderstanding, because God was so vague in telling people what he wanted them to do.
A non-baggage belief system, that's people who don't believe in baggage, right?
Where's the drum set, Amy? Do it.
Gotcha, Donald.
Donald's on a roll tonight.
Okay,
Tip your waitress. She's got purple hair.
I got another video I've got to include in the chat. By the way, I'm just gonna have to do that one. It was it's something to do with that. The cross being used as a symbol for Christianity when it's like a torture device. I don't want to give the whole thing away, so that's about all I'll say about it. But yeah, I'll link that as well.
But Donald, Jesus died on one for your sins, Donald.
So they claim.
Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Praise God. What? Sign Amy.
Yeah.
KSC wanted a sign from Amy.
It's funny he never gave me any choice in the matter.
I'm here all night, folks. Tip your waitress.
Yeah, and I've pointed that out before. Yes. How we
Tip
are
over your waitress.
According to Christianity, that we're brought into this universe against our will. We have no say in the matter, and then we're forced to make a decision between one of two options, and not playing the game is not an option. Sorry, you're here. Now you've got to decide. You can either arbitrarily choose to believe this set of facts and circumstances are true without evidence. You can do that, or you get to go to hell.
Yeah.
And not playing is not an option. Sorry, you don't get to walk away.
And if it's not true, then if you believe it, you've wasted your life on something that wasn't true. And if you don't believe it, you just get to live your own life, which isn't, really anything all that special.
Pascal's wager, Donald. Pascal's wager.
Throw the dice.
And if it is true,
or
Pascal.
And if it is true, and you don't believe it, then it's all your fault that somebody's life got wasted, so that you could go to heaven, and you're not going. Or did the all-knowing, all-powerful God maybe have something to do with, like planning that to happen that way?
That's a good question, Aunt Jer. That's a good philosophical question, because the Bible does seem to be obsessed with virginity and that whole concept so far, yes. But it doesn't specifically say what God can count, what counts.
In fact, I think we just genocided a whole group.
Was Yahweh a virgin after he got Mary pregnant?
In fact, I think we just genocided a whole group of people over virginity.
Well, yeah. Yeah. They kept the women and children, but they killed all the guys after circumcising them and sending the foreskins up to Yahweh for his snacking pleasure.
And James, Haley doesn't think you have a. Haley doesn't think you have a face. And okay, Blue. Another.
I was on a few minutes ago, but
I know he's been on a bunch of times.
I can bring the cat back on.
Is always right.
You want to see the cat?
Wants to roast you. It's
roast
true.
away. Yeah, bring the cat back. I'll put him on the payroll tonight.
Come on, Haley. If you want to roast people, you get your butt up on stage.
With her guitar.
And Joe says, don't get me started on the myth of the hymen. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but a presuppositionalist could just, presume that's not a myth.
I'll be honest with you. I think I've seen that porn.
Okay.
The myth of the hymen.
I'm sure I haven't.
You only watch Scottish porn. I went for as random. That was as random as I could get. Okay. And
what is this?
Not Alex Jones's type of porn.
Not Alex Jones's type of porn. Alex Jones's type of porn's right here, baby. Right here. Okay. If you're just tuning in, welcome.
Deviger has an interesting question in the chat there. I'm not sure if I fully understand it. If you want to have a look, Amy.
Sure. Hold on 1 second.
What's Dave gonna have to say?
If you're just joining us, welcome to our Midnight Ranting of Atheism versus Christianity. Let's see.
Now, it's probably a good idea to stop everything you're doing right now and just spend a few minutes praising God, just because.
So, serious question. What would happen if you honestly answered Darth Dawkins' dishonest questions? Could one expose the dishonest flowchart by playing his game? Could honesty trust dishonesty? And I know
now I understand the question.
I'd say yes. I would play his game.
So would I.
Like I was saying before. Well, I may play a little bit differently. I would answer his questions with a nice layer of troll.
Just trolling, yes.
Because what he was saying, there was a good irony that he was saying of the reductio ad absurdum. He was trying to say that was his technique, which was not his technique. He was not trying to go to reductio ad absurdum. But
doing it by accident?
That's what you should have done. Like I said, I didn't invent this idea. Someone in chat did, but I'm using this if I ever get to meet Darth Dawkins. I do. I have an eternal. I pray to the eternal butthole. The eternal butthole is all wise. The eternal butthole is all knowing. And, it sounds crass and it sounds stupid. It's very similar to his black hole box.
Titan Uranus. Played it him.
that Mark was using. But sometimes you can't just counter what you're saying. Sometimes you have to be a little bit crass. Sometimes, and Darth would sit there and he'll be like, "You're so juvenile, and you're talking about buttholes." That is the absurdity.
Well, he's not an honest actor, Darth. So you kind of have to go in that direction a little bit because he's not a serious interlocutor. He's not looking for truth, or to have a serious adult conversation of the issues. He's a clown. He is a con
Talking
artist.
butthole?
Basically, yeah.
Eternal butthole.
So you almost have to throw a little bit of trolling.
Because you're being childish when you start talking about him?
See, and they'll
Well,
say
even if you didn't want to go to that level, you could say the flying spaghetti monster because
Yeah.
there's the same evidence for that as Yahweh.
and you can't completely troll. You have to go down the
More.
game with him. It
the
has to be both.
Flying Spaghetti Monster is much better supported because it was invented for that purpose.
Yes.
You
well,
know,
I was just
As opposed to
saying-
Yahweh was just, invented by people who just, had a bunch of different reasons because it wasn't invented by just one person. Yahweh is the result of a whole bunch of people. As opposed to the Flying Spaghetti Monster, one guy came up with.
The reason I'm saying eternal butthole is because, Donald, if you took a shot of whiskey every time that Darth Dawkins said the word eternal tonight, you would be 6 feet under right now. They would be pumping the liquid, the alcohol out of your blood. There'd be more whiskey than it would be blood.
Well, I could support the existence of an eternal butthole better than I could support the existence of Yahweh. I mean, think about it. The butthole isn't the butt itself. It's the empty space, right?
Well, I would just say we have examples of buttholes. So right off the bat.
But the thing is, if you go back in time to before there were any buttholes, isn't the empty space still going to be there?
Maybe.
There you go. So there you go. The butthole was eternal.
Well, I think Mark.
It's not good logic, but it's better logic than any presuppositionalist will ever use to support anything they're claiming.
Well, like even Mark pointed it out a couple times, I think, in the debate where he was like, we're just highly evolved apes, and we've just been really looking at things for a couple hundred years. So there's a lot we know, but we haven't solved everything yet. It's not like we've been going at it for, millions of years. It's only been in the past couple hundred years that we've been willing to question the tenets of religion and actually look at the natural world to see how things really work without trying to say that, we can't really ask too many questions because God tells us things happen a certain way that we've been able to check and say, no, that doesn't seem to be how it works.
Yeah, and if you look at that, God tells us don't look any deeper. God tells us don't ask the questions. God isn't telling us anything like that. It's the people speaking on behalf of God that are telling us those things because they don't have the answers and they know they can't get them. No,
it's like, it is basically, I have a girlfriend. She lives in Canada. You can't meet her. It is... If we could meet the person, they could come down.
Yes.
If God could come down and smack me in the face, I'd believe they were real.
But I mean,
she's immortal. Don't forget, and she's immortal, invincible, invisible.
Because girls do exist, and Canada is a place, so therefore that's still way more logical than Yahweh.
There you go.
Someone who exists in a place we don't have any evidence of existing. And
unless you just say heaven, unless you just say the sky is heaven, well then okay, we've got a place, but it doesn't fit the description of the heaven in the Bible then.
But
we're not told he's up there. Yeah.
All of the joke analogies somehow keep on being more realistic. How does this keep on happening?
Yeah. It's like Ken Hovind, where when he goes to the absurdium, we're talking about life coming from rocks, which is still more plausible than his hypothesis because at least we know rocks are an actual thing.
At least rocks exist, yeah.
We don't have any knowledge of a life-creating genie that exists in his book of fables, that we have no evidence of that existing. Rocks at least are a thing.
It's almost as if pretty much everybody alive today has a better education than, the people who made up God years ago.
It's almost like
almost.
you stand on the
You mean
Almost.
you mean
I
the
mean-
vain babblings of Bronze Age goat herders isn't
Exactly,
more
yeah,
relevant
it's-
than modern science?
Yeah, and
Goat herder
when I
biology,
say
it doesn't trump modern evolutionary biology?
when I say almost, what I mean is that it's almost down to that level. It's that the average person has almost that little yeah.
Well, damn. So maybe we shouldn't fire all the biology heads at all the universities and just have them pass out Bibles and say God did it.
Yeah, maybe we
That's
shouldn't.
it.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't use Kent Hovind's idea of having fourth graders be the ultimate measure of how smart or how knowledgeable someone should be in order to figure anything out. Like,
But Donald,
maybe we shouldn't fire all of the scientists and replace them with fourth graders who have been taught to deny
a coyote, a dog, and a turtle. Which one of those is not like the rest, Donald? Even a fourth grader could tell you.
The rock.
Yeah. What's the genetic code of a rock?
Out of those four, it's the rock. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not saying we came from rocks. I'm saying we came from the rock, as in Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Is specifically where I think life came from. That's what I should tell them every time.
Well, I would like to do a survey sometime and find out how many people have pet rocks named God, because I bet there are a lot of them.
There you go.
Yeah, life coming from rocks is still infinitely more plausible than his universe-creating, life-poofing genie existing. And this is, I've said numerous times, their line of thought is that, well, you guys can't tell us exactly how a biogenesis happened. Therefore, my hypothesis of a universe-creating genie farting animals out one at a time must be considered equal with modern biology, because you just don't know. You don't know how life formed.
You wanna piss Hovind off real badly? Just get somebody. Get somebody who's already agreed to Just give someone who's already agreed to debate him a gift of a pet rock named God, and tell him if he tries to tell you that God created the universe and that there's only one God, point out that you've got a rock named God. So if he believes there's only one God, it must be that rock. So therefore, he's claiming a God created the universe, and or that he's claiming a rock created the universe.
Donald, what you see, I just don't want religion taught in school. I just don't like it taught in schools.
They're taking our tax dollars.
He wants his religion, only his religion taught in schools.
Your tax dollars, Amy, right?
Yeah, only on not my tax dollars. I'm a taxiverse. Got T on the ta and a ta taxiverse. Got to work on that T's. He goes hard. He goes hard.
Well, you see, you believe that your grandfather was a rock.
My Bible says God hovered above the waters. The waters? The water?
My God made your grandfather from water.
SpongeBob physics. You want your children to be taught SpongeBob? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
Ooh, long ago and far away, all this happened, but the animals today can't do it. But it happened long ago and far away. Like, no, Kent, that's long ago and far away is when your God actually interacted with people. We're going through Genesis, and Amy is seeing on almost every page God directly interacting with, directly taking action to influence his creation, picking winners and losers, pronouncing judgments, giving blessings, killing people he doesn't like.
And might I say, the wisdom on every page is just amazing. Just all of the begatting and duking. I mean,
43 dukes on that one.
And don't forget, Noah survived. Noah and his family survived the flood in a pineapple under the sea.
43 dukes, Donald. 43. That makes Queen Elizabeth look jealous. Yeah, 43 dukes in one chapter.
You know what the king told the people that he had transcribed the Bible for him. Put up your dukes.
Put up your dukes. SpongeBob physics. And the funny thing is that Kent and Darth have such stark apologetics, even though they're creationists. Like you were saying, the Presup is just not there to present, is not even there to talk about the Bible. I mean, I don't know where the hell we were in philosophy land, but that the debate should have been retitled, "What is eternal?" or "Do you believe in an eternal something?" It should, because let me tell you, it wasn't a whole bunch of atheism versus Christianity. Not modern day debate's fault.
I'll have to go and watch. I'll have to go and watch Mark's side of it sometime.
Mark is really good. I love Mark. Yeah. He's a great debater.
I will have to go and watch his side of it sometime. I really don't think I even want to see the other side, but I definitely was not up to that today. I just wasn't. So I figured I'd just come here without having seen it and leave it at that. Because
okay. We always love you. And no, it's just
I just wasn't up to presuppositionalism today.
No, honestly, I was surprised Darth lasted as long as he did. I mean, he is like if Otangelo and Mr. Batman were somehow able to sire a child, it would probably be Darth. It would sound a lot like Darth Dawkins.
Yeah, but just here.
Vague philosophical ideas and axioms that are meaningless.
Too much like a brain tumor.
It felt like it at sometimes. Felt like my head was gonna pop. But Mark is such a nice guy that he kept it from a dumpster fire. It didn't light because Mark chose not to light the match. So
not for lack of trying. I mean, Darth, you had the gasoline ready. He was ready to go up.
Pouring it down.
Just like God said, he made the rainbow. He said, "Okay, guys, I promise not to flood the earth again. I didn't promise not to kill everybody again, but I won't flood the earth again."
Yeah, you look at the way that's worded. In various translations, it's slightly different, but I mean, basically, it's not Yahweh saying, "I'm never going to do anything this horrible again." It's Yahweh saying, again. "I'm never going to do anything this horrible in this specific way again."
Exactly. Yeah. I promise I'm not going to run you over with my truck again. Doesn't mean I won't drop an anvil on your head or shoot you, stab you, drown you. I won't run you over with my truck again.
No, James, it's like this. It's like pointing back at your truck that's all busted up from running someone over and saying, "Well, I'm not going to run you over with that truck again."
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, so
it's like, thanks, that's real reassuring.
Real nice of you. He also, I mean, he's a creepy guy. Yahweh every once in a while has moments where he's like, "Listen, lady, I'm beating you, but I didn't kill you. So suck it up and get back in your cage."
Oh, do you remember where Darth kept going on with like, "Oh, you're a megalomaniac," and Mark was like, "Megalomania, because you're saying that you would be a better God than God, or that you wouldn't do it a certain way. That's megalomania." And Mark was just like, "Okay,
that ain't saying much."
Okay,
yeah. First of all, this is the cognitive dissonance. I hate to throw that word around, but this is Darth going, "You're telling me you can make a better book than the Bible?" Yes, Darth. I hate to break for fourth wall. But yes, Darth,
you
make
wouldn't
a better
create
book.
you wouldn't create an eternal oven to roast people who you don't like forever. You wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't
Heck, you
drown
can-
everybody on Earth.
You
Get
can
rid
write
of shitty
one.
people.
You can write one decent sentence, and it's a better book than the Bible, even without being a book, because the Bible really isn't either. It's a library.
You wouldn't have to kill people you could forgive people without having to kill somebody.
And once again, the irony of that statement. No, it's because Yahweh is a megalomaniac. No.
Wait, did he actually?
We don't want to drown
Did
people.
he actually seem to think? Did he actually think that like killing someone is a requirement for being able to forgive?
Darth, I don't want to say because it was a fake trigger.
Okay.
Darth was basically trying to be like, well, you think you can make a better book than God? Well, you're a maniac. You're a crazy person. Look at this crazy person. Mark was
like, okay, yeah, I could, yeah. A drunk homeless guy on meth sleeping under a bridge could probably come up with something better.
Well, I don't know. Can you answer? But yes, absolutely.
Can I make a better sign than God?
Oh, here we go. There you go. Donald, you and I don't know if you have children, but we're about to become honorary dads because the amount of dad jokes that we're going to put in this podcast. All right.
Yahweh's a great dad, you know. He's the Father of the Year award. You know, when Smokey did his Father of the Year award, what was that, about a month ago, back before all hell broke loose on that channel, she forgot to make Yahweh the Father of eternity.
Yes, Yahweh was the Father of year zero. You know, before there were any
Best
years.
Father in eternity.
Haley,
I don't think they disagree. They disagree with you. She is my roommate. But
the year in between 1 AD and 1 BC.
And I love you, all my awesome lovely
Haley trolling
out there. She is trolling, but I'm a troll. I can take it. But that's right. Don't do hate speech. She thinks she gets angry when I say tranny. Listen, Haley, if you're gonna troll, then I can say tranny. Okay, these are the rules.
That is short for transmission, right?
Yes, that is 100% short for transmission.
I do fun trolling. Okay. I
thought so.
Fun trolling, not harmful trolling. And I do get upset when people on those channels, mods and whatnot, time me out. And I let them know. As Amy has seen that before on Modern Day Debate.
Spooky Bed Hair says, I'm the roommate Amy wishes she had.
No, I think we are all for free speech in the debate community. It's just we don't. It's always stronger to attack ideas and not people. She's trolling. She's just teasing. But
Daviger says I could totally write a better Bible. More people named Dan.
I know.
Yeah,
I
Dan.
saw that in chat. In Modern Day Debate too. Yes.
Fucking Dan. We're having an impact. We are altering the discourse. We're talking about Dan.
Hold on. I need to write.
And Robert X says killing is bad. That's why God would never do it.
Hold on. I'm writing my will. Hold on. And therefore I shall leave money to Zilafasavo and Faka Masakatu and Musanonase and Jabada and Dan. All right. Got the names down. Good
and at least half of the Dukes. Some of the Dukes skip. Dukes.
Duke. Haley, you can say whatever you want.
Haley can be. We can make her a Duke. She can be a Duke.
But we love you. We care. We care right here. In fact, speaking of caring, if you would like to join Midnight Ranting, Atheism versus Christianity, the link is in the chat and pinned. Come by.
Amy, God loves you so much He wants nothing more than for you to love him. Now, if you're not going to love him, he's not going to force you to love him. You'll have to go to hell. So how's that sound, Amy?
I know. I guess I'm gonna have to burn hell. I almost triggered someone in another It was an atheist chat, but I was talking about how hell is an evil concept, and he was like, "You have a reprobate mind." I'm like, "Oh,
Was that Baptist Chad?
might have been."
I saw him call you a reprobate in modern day debate.
And I was like, "That's cool. Yahweh's a degenerate." I love that word because it's a good one that conservatives use a lot, and it tastes sweet in my mouth. So I just love saying it. Yahweh is a degenerate. I'll say it over and over again. At least from everything I've read so far.
A sadist, an asshole, a dick,
An
prick.
asshole, a prick.
Yeah.
We should read that quote by Richard Dawkins. It's just such a lovely quote.
Well, actually, if you think about it, oh, by the way, I wrote my will.
And here you go. Okay, hold on. What you got, Tom? Get it out.
Will.
Will. Yeah, I wrote my will.
There
right
you
there.
go.
No, I was just going to say, if you go along with the whole, with the Pascal's wager and things like that, and people saying, well, okay, how about the argument, that atheists just want to sin. That's why they don't believe in God. Like somehow God's not going to punish us for sinning because we don't believe He exists. Okay, if you go with that sort of reasoning, then I suppose you could say that the Christians are the ones who are the degenerates. I mean, after all, they are the ones who believe they are degenerate. I should say specifically creationists believe they are degenerates because people who understand how evolution works, we understand that we're not degenerates. We are basically the one of the paths that our ancient very primitive ancestors took in their evolution, and we've come a long way from there. But on the other hand, those who believe that they're descendants of a God who created them in His image and didn't do a good enough job of creating that ancient ancestor in His image to be able to keep that person from screwing up, and then had to curse that one so it got degenerated even more, and then its descendants from there on have had shorter and shorter lives. So according to a lot of Christian philosophies, because they've degenerated more and more and more. Their whole philosophy teaches that they're degenerates.
And and that is always an interesting thing. Yeah, we've been reading that, they were living for 600 years, 700 years, 900 years. And that's why they have to do this whole gene degeneration thing and all this shit.
They're literally taught to believe that they're degenerates.
Hey, you won't get any disagreement from here, Don. Now
we're going. Well, we're modern monkeys. That have evolved to fit the niche of human society, and they're going, well, we're degenerate gods that are lower than modern monkeys.
Now let me just send out a shout out to all the metaphorical, all the liberal theists and Christians. I know a lot of times you guys are our allies. I know a lot of times you guys look at people like Darth Dawkins and Kent Hovind and all these people and go, holy moly, do they really represent religion? And
sadly, they represent a lot of it.
Exactly,
but not all of it. So
not all.
They can rest assured their religion is probably better than the ones that they're recognizing are terrible.
I just want to send another shout. I want to send a shout out to Gavin. We did have to implement a wearing pants rule, but
really,
Gavin? I know. We're starting to get standards. I know that the atheists, you think atheists have standards. Well, we decided no shirt, no shoes.
I mean, what about when when we just read where the Israelites had to inspect the genitalia of all the men in the city to make sure they were all snipped. So they all had to lower their pants because Yahweh would not have.
Who says they have any?
Well, Donald, you have to wear pants according to the Bible, or God will have to kill an animal. You know, it's nudity is evil. It's evil according to God. So.
Well, keep in mind, you know, when you read pants in the Bible, that's an English word. The Bible wasn't written in English. And by the way, even in English, think about it. The King James Version of the Bible, was that written in American English or was that written in British English? King James, that's a hint.
Well, there was no America back in the 1600s.
Okay.
So.
And what is the British meaning? And what is the British English meaning of pants?
And Donald, are you telling me the Native Americans weren't Israelites?
No, I'm not telling you that. You can work that one out on your own.
Yeah, don't mess with the Mormon Church.
Don't mess with the Mormons. That's what the Mormons believe.
They will come knocking on your door, Donald.
I could tell you that, and I would be probably pretty justified in doing so. But no, I'm not telling you that. But seriously, run a search, run a Google search, define pants, and see if it gives you the British definition of pants. Keep in mind, the King James Version of the Bible was a British English Bible.
I do, but I get a very different results than in my search engine.
What do you get for the British meaning of pants?
I was just trying to make a porn joke, but yes.
Hmm?
You get Gavin. He comes up.
Not the verb, the noun.
Because Gavin
talking about the verb pants
is very concerned about your gender expression, Amy. He's very concerned about it because God is very concerned about it. It matters a lot to him.
No, seriously though, my point is that we don't even know if they wore pants. We don't know if there was an article of clothing that got translated or something that got translated to pants in a British English Bible from Middle English, from not modern British English, but from English way back when. We don't know what that word meant. Probably don't have much idea what it meant in English back then in that place, let alone what it meant in the language it was translated into English from. Because I mean, British English, and I'm sure there are individuals. There's got to be individuals that this is an exception to, but in general, my understanding, British English, the word pants refers to an undergarment, not something you wear on the outside of your clothing.
Well,
something that in American English we might call underwear or panties.
Okay, at least if he had underwear on, everyone wouldn't have been able to inspect Mr. Snakey Wakey down there. But that apparently was not the case.
Depending on how their underwear was formed, I mean, maybe they left that part exposed, for identification, or so that they didn't have to take it out when they needed to, when nature called. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know. We really don't know. If there's any truth, assuming there might be any truth to the stories at all, there's still a whole bunch of stuff about those stories that we really would not know how to interpret.
Donald, just like you were looking up how much good is in Genesis, we could take the entire chapter and just
not much.
Eat it. We could just eat the entire chapter, and they'd all complain. But we have taken away zero wisdom. Can anyone remember any wisdom we've taken from anything we've read so far?
Like that last chapter, it was all about dukes and names. That's it.
Yeah, like anything actual useful yet. I know there's going to be apparently there's going to be some good stuff in the Bible, but we've read 37 we're about 36 chapters. We're 36 chapters to the Bible. Any of them have any wisdom? Anyone?
At most, they're boring.
Chances
are,
anything with nearly zero exceptions, chances are anything in the Old Testament that is of any value at all was taken from another religion or another culture or something else, and basically a story retold into into the books that became the Old Testament of the Bible. And the same can be said about probably the majority of the New Testament.
I agree, but I'm waiting for some of the good, for some of the actual, like, I guess that's going to happen in, once we get away from all these laws and all this shit. I guess we'll get to some turn the other cheek. But let me tell you, right now it's pretty begatting, sexing, and genociding.
Well, you can look ahead.
Snipping
You can look ahead chapter by chapter to see which ones don't say that there's no good in them, and take a note of that. So when you're approaching those chapters, you can go, yeah, we're getting to one of the good parts.
Well, the good thing about going through the Bible cover to cover is after it's done, nobody can say, you just looked at the bad parts. You didn't. You were just looking for bad stuff. No, we're going from start to finish in order.
That is what I want. When I'm done with this, I want to be able to say we have gone from cover to cover the entire Bible, because most of the Christians don't do that. I was a Jew or whatever. I was never going to read all of the Old Testament or the Torah. It
used to be
boring.
The Catholic Church used to strongly encourage people not to read the Bible themselves, and they'd say that's for scholars, that's for priests and things like that. Now these days, I think they've taken more of a stance of, well, you don't have to read it. You can if you want to. And I think the main reason behind that is because words started getting around that they were discouraging people from reading the Bible, and people started going, well, what are they trying to hide? So they're like, well, we better stop so strongly discouraging reading the Bible because it's making us look bad.
And just want to say, bye, Anchor. And I completely understand when thy Lord, thy cat calls. You have to do thy bidding. And so we'll wait for James. We'll probably do a little bit more of this, but it's been a good cathartic counter-apologist stream, because my head was gonna, as someone who was watching the debate, I think my head was gonna blow if I did not say eternal butthole live, because oh my gosh, just the same question over and over and over and over again. And he I don't know if it's a script, maybe it was, but just couldn't get Darth off it. Like, make your point, say it 2 or 3 times.
Was there a point?
The point, yes. The point is, and Darth admitted it at the very, very, very end. And Mark started calling him out on it, but it was true. The point is that you're supposed to say, no, I can't do it. I can't have anything. And the response is, of course, because you need a God. But saying I don't know doesn't allow someone to go, yes. Hey, welcome, Haley. How are you?
Hi, Haley.
Brethren.
I don't think you watched the debate. We're going to do probably about another 30 minutes. But what were your thoughts, just in general, I guess, on atheism versus Christianity?
I think such petulant, frivolous arguments should not be discussed on such a platform in an unorganized manner as this.
Why is it frivolous?
Because you do not wish to give people the answers they seek. You wish only to humiliate them for your own ego.
I disagree.
I suppose that depends on the person. Different people, different reasons. Sorry, Haley. I think you went silent when I talked to you. You need to be louder. I need to be quieter.
I
disagree. It's not about humiliating people. It's about getting to the truth. That's the only thing that matters.
There is not one universal truth. We all only experience our own version of the truth.
Well, those
Well,
are perceived. Those are perceived truths, not truth. There's a difference.
and that
If
also
you
goes
perceive,
against the
for example,
Christianity.
if you perceive that 2 plus 2 is always 5, and I perceive that 2 plus 2 is always 3, then we both have our own perceived truths, but we're both wrong.
But how is one human to know what the absolute truth is?
To know
There is
for
no
sure,
absolute truth.
I don't think we ever will know for sure, but we can, 100% for sure. But we can get more sure or less sure. We can look at evidence behind things, and we can have reason behind the conclusions that we come to, and have enough of an open mind to realize that if better reason comes along to think that we're wrong and we should change our mind, that we should consider doing that.
But how arrogant of you to assume that your truth is more truthful than another person's truth.
But I don't feel that I have my own truth. I only feel that I have my own perception of what is true. And you have your perception of what is true. And I'm not saying that my perception of what is true is more likely the absolute truth than yours. What I will say is that I work very hard to try to not have frivolous reasons for thinking that something is true. I work very hard to try to make sure that my reasons for thinking something is true are as valid as I can make them. And if you do likewise, then we're probably going to be about equal.
Dear sir, your definition of what frivolous is of human opinion, and is not an absolute constant in the universe.
I agree, and your definition of what frivolous is also going to be your opinion, and that is the best we can work with to form our best view of reality and our best opinion about what reality is, and work with that as well as we're capable.
Okay, this is getting pretty sweaty, but I'm gonna keep it up. I think
You're doing good.
Is it cold there, Amy?
I'm always cold, but I'm feeling good. I have my little heater. I have bling
She
bling.
controls the thermostat very heavily.
When I'm comfortable, everyone's hot. That's generally how it goes. Is it still not boosted enough? I feel like I'm hearing her now. Boost her a little bit more.
I am on my cellular device, so it might have lesser audio quality.
Is that a single cellular device or a multicellular device?
And
Single cellular. I am not.
And it's the Christians that are generally telling us about universal truth and objective truth and all this. It's not normally.
Yes.
It's normally the atheists, and I mean, you are a pagan, but it's normally the atheists and the pagans. I mean, James believes in a subjective morality. I'm kind of in between, but I mean,
Yes,
Moral relativism is where it's at.
yeah,
see?
but a presuppositionalist will often think that there is there is one version of what is true, or one person who gets the truth right, or one higher being that has
he
the
doesn't
truth
know
to
who
give
a
to us.
presuppositionalist is.
But someone who supposes something before they've had any reason to suppose it. That's basically what why they end up thinking such things, because rather than
Start talking.
coming up with reasons to believe one way or another, they believe what they have been convinced of by somebody who tells them, well, if you start by believing this, then then you're going to be okay, and they fall for it.
A presuppositionalist is a Christian apologist, probably a pastor, a priest who
Wouldn't have to be Christian.
Doesn't have to be. Yeah, sometimes Muslim, but presupposes God. That's why they're called presuppositionalists.
Yeah. Well,
because
I mean, you can presuppose anything. I mean, you could presuppose the lack of
And
a
they
God
do.
just as easily.
I can't believe they take the name presups. That's such a silly name.
Yeah,
They're telling us.
Well,
So they're
Well,
saying
I mean-
they're trying to say they don't have to prove God. They just presuppose him, so then you have to go and actually disprove him.
well, what in general, what that is they're trying to replace logic, because logic is something that a lot of people presuppose because they haven't been able to find ways to test it. But logic has proven itself. We don't have to presuppose it. We can look at the fact that logic is functional, that it works, and it serves a purpose. So we don't have to presuppose it. But if you try to prove logic works, then you come down to a point where you can say, well, okay, I have been able to demonstrate that it works, but I haven't been able to logically prove that logic works because I need logic to logically prove that logic works.
I'm
And
gonna
so
make
actual proof becomes sort of elusive. And that's why where they go, well, then if I presuppose my God, instead of presupposing logic, I can throw logic out the window and just say, God answers it all.
And I'm going to make one point, but then I'll throw it back over to Haley because she's
God did it.
3 against 1. In fact, what did you have a response, Haley? Did you have something to say? If not a response, just
I do have one point of discussion.
mm-hmm.
James,
Listening.
I find it quite unsettling that your countenance is currently obscured. Would you be so courteous as to reveal yourself for but a brief moment?
He's been on debates. I met James live on camera. He was live. His camera
I was here
on
a few
on
minutes
this
ago.
Podcast.
Well, James, Haley's just asked you to flash us. Are you up to it?
I know.
I am not into small penile membrane.
Oh. Well, you didn't say reveal himself in what ways, but you did say for a brief moment. That's why I said flash.
Worship me.
I appreciate that.
Now, on the other
You're
hand,
very welcome.
Brief moment could have meant, a short moment in time, or we could go back to the argument about pants, and a brief moment might have been something entirely different.
I think we're actually going to start wrapping up soon. Unless
I had to switch to my cellular device. My laptop device decided to be a bitch.
Oh, that is very detestable.
It's quite vile, actually. Yes, it
Yes.
does not want to connect to the internet. Keeps saying bullshit DNS error not found. Very troubling.
Yes, it definitely can be detested.
That is indeed bullshit.
I have been praying to the gods, but no solution has made itself apparent.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
no God has made itself apparent, so that makes sense.
I pray to Donald's purple hair to restore the functionality of my device. Please, I will sacrifice whatever it takes.
we will sacrifice this soda that I'm not putting the label on to your hair. Go.
Suggestion.
Huh?
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Hast thou attempted to restart said device and put it back into the on position?
Not yet. That takes time, but I thought if I would pray about it first, that would probably save time. But so I'll pray about it, and then I'll reset it, and then if it's working, it'll be because
then
of the
you can
prayer.
thank whatever you prayed to. That's how that works. Yeah. Yes. So if you reset it now and it works, my hair must have done it, right?
Praise purple hair. Praise your hair.
Yes, my purple glasses couldn't have had anything to do with it. It must have been the hair.
Amy will commit an act of sodomy in violation of the Bible if that will restore my device functionality. Sorry, Amy. I just figured you probably would anyway. So
That's okay.
Oh,
I don't know,
yes,
Amy.
indeed.
I don't know, Amy, but I would suggest against sodomizing the Bible. That you could get injured that way.
a paper cut.
Yeah, many
There's nothing
paper cuts. I mean, I know the book is a big piece of shit, but seriously.
Thou could print the Bible onto toilet paper, and that would be a better use of the paper.
Don't they usually print it on toilet paper? I thought that was normal.
I have not seen it, but I would buy it if I did.
It's that thin one-ply toilet paper, the cheap stuff that is really easy to rip and stuff, which is why they tell you it's a holy book. You have to treat it delicately because holy apparently means delicate.
Like the toilet paper in the bathrooms at the hospitals, that like nasty, cheap paper mache.
Yeah, if your hands sweat, the pages will dissolve in them.
Hello, Amy. I have another request. I would like you to wrap this question up before approximately 3:30 a.m. as
In which
We're
time zone?
wrapping up. Don't. Did you have a
What was the
question?
question?
If you have a question that's relevant to the subject.
Oh yes, you attempted to say that we must read the entire Bible.
Say that one more time.
That one must read the entire Bible.
I said that one must read the entire Bible.
Only if you want to make certain judgments about it. If you want to make statements about the entire Bible, then yeah, you should have read the entire Bible before making statements about the entire Bible. Otherwise, otherwise you're making a statement without the knowledge to go behind that statement.
One does not need to read the entire dictionary to make a statement about the English language. Hence,
True, but one does need to read the entire dictionary in order to make a statement about the entire dictionary.
We also don't think that the dictionary is holy or divine from God.
I mean,
For example,
I would think otherwise.
Say that again.
I mean, are you sure you don't think the dictionary is holy? Because you seem to.
Nope. Do you?
I'll give you an example.
Did you just say yes?
What
And
I
I
was
think you're echoing.
Absolutely not.
If you were to look the word tesseract up in a dictionary and you didn't find it, and you made the statement that the word tesseract is nowhere in that dictionary, you might actually be making a mistake, because perhaps the word tesseract turns up in a definition of some other word in the dictionary. Or maybe there is actually a definition of tesseract in that dictionary, but it erroneously got placed unalphabetically. So without having read the entire dictionary, you shouldn't make a blanket statement about the entire dictionary. The same thing goes for the Bible. If you want to make a statement about the entire Bible, you should read the whole Bible first.
You make a good D-A-D-A-K.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. People always bring up like certain good passages of the Bible. So the Bible makes claims that are both testable and untestable. So that when it makes claims that are not testable, they say, well, everything that we have tested works, right? So therefore you should believe the untestable claims. The problem is when we do test the claims it makes that we can't test, a lot of the time it fails those tests. So why would we give it credence on the things that we can't check out what it says when it fails when we are able to,
Not to mention, not to mention they may not have tested all of the testable claims. For example, maybe they never tried mating goats in front of striped sticks to see whether or not they produced speckled offspring.
You give me an example of one of these claims that you speak of?
Well, that was one.
Repeat
I
that
just
for
did.
me.
Well, there is a passage we just read recently in the Bible where, in a particular story, a person puts goats and sheep in front of sticks that they've arranged into stripes, in order to have them produce speckled and striped and spotted offspring because of mating in front of these striped backgrounds, as if somehow their genes are going to mutate to cause camouflage for a striped background because they mated in front of a striped background. Now, if they had observed nature and they found that striped animals tended to be found in striped backgrounds, and they thought, well, that's how that works. Maybe they thought that's how genetics functions. so they wrote that into the Bible. But if you actually test that, if you actually take goats that are not striped and speckled and spotted, and you mate them in front of that sort of a background to try to produce striped and speckled and spotted offspring, it doesn't work.
It does give you a question of why they even felt that was an important enough passage to put in the Bible. It's just a story about Jacob's goat breeding. I mean, why did they feel the need to put that in the book anyway?
Well, really, it was a story about someone fooling someone, but but I think that might have been included to sort of show off how much knowledge of heredity they had, and it was just wrong.
I am not familiar with the passage, but if I were to guess, I would guess what to do in the field.
And that's the thing. That's not one of the passages that they talk about, because it's the Bible taking a swing at something in the natural world and face planning. It's trying to tell you how something works, and it's completely wrong. So we don't talk about that passage. They just talk about the passages that you can't check out. You can't verify the claim because it's supernatural. It's a magical claim.
Amy or James, did either of you happen to know what the title was of the episode that was in case Haley or anyone else wants to look up that episode and check out the verses that we were reading?
It's not coming to mind right now, but yeah, it was about three Bible studies ago, 3 or 4.
Ooh, Speed of Sound in the house.
Hey, Speed of Sound.
Speed?
Hello. My name is Haley.
He should come in panel sometimes. He is a good speaker.
And I will say I've been looking at more of your weather reports, Speed. I want to start joining them too. But they're awesome. I'm a big fan already.
Yeah, they are awesome.
And I feel bad. I don't want to end just when Speed is joining us, but it's about to hit the 2-hour mark. So
unless he wants to come in and ask any questions about the debate.
So unless he's going...
I believe it was Genesis 30, by the way. So
okay.
I think that's right. Genesis 30.
But unless he's going to join us, then let's start to do a wrap-up. I think I'm going to eventually have a bumper for this. But so imagine that a graphic was playing right now and a bunch of music. And okay, everybody. So
banana music.
Midnight Ranting, Atheism versus Christianity in any order. But whenever you're done, please then mute yourself.
Any final thoughts, Haley?
I have a lot of thoughts, but all I can say is that the common atheist ethos is very misguided and cynical, and I believe that those who wish to promote a more logical point of view of the universe should have a more empathetic and reasonable way of looking at said things.
I don't think there is a common atheist ethos.
Absolutely there is, fine sir.
Don't think so. Because atheism is just the lack of theism. And an ethos would imply that they have some specific thing in common, not a lack of something in common. If you're talking about a common ethos, that would be something of their spirit or their essence that they have in common with each other, not something that they're lacking in that they commonly lack. Lacking theism wouldn't seem to work with the idea of having a common ethos.
That's okay. Well, Haley, you can have a response if you want, but then Donald, don't respond to her response. Then do
Okay.
your ending, and then we'll end with
Just
James.
my thoughts.
No. Hey,
And thank you, Haley.
exactly. We want theists to be on here. So, Haley, what was your response?
Tell us why we're wrong.
I was going to say that you are indeed wrong. There is a common atheist ethos, and that is one of wanting not only to not believe in theism, but to reject all of its ideas completely, disconnect from it, and want all of society to disconnect from it. And I think that is a very unhealthy way for any group of people to look at the world. I do not believe that everyone should be Christian or Muslim or have purple hair. So, you know,
And okay, with that, we're not gonna we'll respond to her on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Donald, what is your final thoughts on the subject of atheism versus Christianity? And then when you're done, mute yourself and we'll hand it over to James.
Well, Christianity defeats itself, and atheism doesn't do anything because it's just a lack of something. So atheism beat Christianity without even trying.
Woohoo! I like that. And okay, James, final thoughts, Midnight Ranting, atheism versus Christianity.
I just want to thank everybody for coming on. Thank Haley. Thank you, Donald, for coming in and sharing your thoughts with us. So the debate, it was what we expected, a all-around dumpster fire. Darth Dawkins once again face planted before everyone to see in stupendous fashion. He came with nothing, no evidence, no logic, no reason, just vague philosophical quirks and tropes that are not very convincing to anybody. I don't think anybody was even moderately convinced that there's even anything to see here. There's just no evidence that there's a God. We don't need a God for anything. It serves no purpose except to answer questions that are otherwise hard to answer by pretending that you know the answer when you don't know. So thank you, Amy.
Woohoo!
And we'll be back later. We'll be back on Saturday with a Bible study, right?
Be back with Saturday on a Bible study. I think we're going to set up a juicy topic. Maybe we're getting to consciousness. I'm trying to get things ready because I want to do a slideshow for that, like a presentation before I make it open mic. But look forward to a bunch more atheists.
That would be Sunday, right? Yeah.
That'd be Sunday. And as always, we love theists or anyone who disagrees with us to come on. And I want to offer everyone to not only like and subscribe, but don't forget to hit that bell because we were having a problem. So I want to hit that as often as possible.
Smash that bell. Yes.
Smash the bell to all so you come join our live events. And I want to thank James
Smash that smell.
Smash the smell. I want to thank James W., Donald, Haley, KOC Champ, Robert, Tighten Your Anus, Aunt Jer, Dave Gar, Spooky, Darth Dawkins Debunked, Ian, and Speed of Sound, along with anyone else who I missed. Although Jesus didn't come back from the dead during this podcast and give us a hug, I still hope you all enjoyed being with us on Midnight Ranting, Atheism,
Praise God.
Christianity.
Praise God.
Praise the praise. Until next time, everyone. Stay skeptical.
God's pray.
Praise God. Gay
Everyone
men.